Brothers and sisters, I'm pro-life leader Frank Pavone, National Director of Priests for Life, Pastoral Director of Silent No More and of Rachel's Vineyard, President of the National Pro-Life Religious Council. On behalf of all those organizations and programs, I want to give my sincere greetings to all of you who are marching for life in New Jersey. The New Jersey March for Life, September the 25th of 2025. Thank you so much for being part of it. You know, I have spent a lot of time in New Jersey over the years of my pro-life work. I look forward to spending a lot more time there. I was actually a resident of New Jersey for 5 years when I was doing my college seminary training with the Salesians, who had a seminary in New Jersey, Don Bosco College. It's not there anymore, but I was very, very blessed to be receiving that training and formation right there in your own state of New Jersey. I want to address those who are marching and also those who are in the pro-life movement, whether you are at the march today or not, nevertheless working so hard in a very difficult state when it comes to this issue of abortion, but nevertheless shining that light into the darkness. And that's the point that I want to make with you. Although I'm not there with you today in person, as I would like to be because of other commitments in Florida, Priests for Life is represented. Our Associate Director, Father Dennis Wild, an Augustinian priest who's been with us full-time since 1998, is in fact there marching with you. And he too, over the course of his work with our ministry, has traveled the length and breadth of your state, bearing witness to life. And the gospel tells us that life is the light of humanity that God gives us. And the light shines on in the darkness, a darkness that does not overcome it. New Jersey is one of the darker places when it comes to abortion, as you well know. The Center for Reproductive Rights labels New Jersey as one of the most abortion protective states in our country. And it's an ironic use of words, isn't it? Because abortion is exactly the opposite of protection. We are the ones who protect. But the light shines on. You know, when a state has, as you have in New Jersey, because of the Democrat Party's obsession with abortion that New Jersey is in this situation, and Governor Phil Murphy having signed the Freedom of Reproductive Choice Act, eliminating restrictions on abortion. You have unlimited abortion throughout pregnancy, no parental involvement in an abortion decision of a minor, and all kinds of other extremism. And that is how you can be a light in that darkness even more effectively. In other words, the existence of such extremism when it comes to abortion doesn't mean the pro-life movement has less to do. It means the pro-life movement can be an even brighter light in that darkness. When you look at polling, for example, of people not only in New Jersey, it applies there, but also across the country, you see the same thing everywhere. That the later you get into the pregnancy, the less support there is for the legality of abortion, or the more you get into abortion simply because of preference. When you get away from medical considerations and think about it as just something someone wants to do just because they don't want to have that child, support diminishes for the legality of abortion. And that's where we need to continue to focus. In other words, the strategy is you take the extremism that already exists under the law in New Jersey and you make it clear to all your fellow citizens of New Jersey. Ask them whether they know where the limit is on gestational age for abortion, and then point out to them that there isn't any. Ask them whether they know that parents have to be involved or not in the abortion. Ask them where they stand on these things. Describe the procedure for them. Show them the extremism that already exists. The fact that it exists under the law in New Jersey doesn't mean that it has to stay that way forever. The light shines on in the darkness, a darkness that does not overcome it. We are approaching the 250th birthday of America. I was just in Washington, D.C., in fact, in a special meeting with the Secretary of Education and about 40 other group leaders. And Priests for Life was there representing the national pro-life organizations, focusing specifically on abortion. And we're preparing for the 250th birthday of America with a long series of events, starting now and reaching throughout 2026. And our involvement in this celebration of the nation that came about as that Declaration of Independence was adopted on July 4th, 1776. This celebration is meant to reinvigorate patriotism based on an understanding of the values that America is founded on. And when you understand the values, when you understand the principles, when you understand the founding documents of this country, starting with the Declaration, you also understand the right to life. And that's why I'm involved in this Coalition for Civics Education, as it's called, to celebrate the 250th birthday with an informed American public, informed that the first right that our governing documents recognize is life itself, given to us by the Creator and secured by government. That's the very purpose of government, to secure that right. And when we say that the right to life is given to us by the Creator, and that government instituted across this land secures that right, we are not saying that that is true just for some states and not for others. We are not saying that that is true just for certain stages of life, but not for others. When we declare the right to life given by God, we are claiming for that right and for that God every state in this union, every square mile of every state, every square inch of territory in this nation is covered by that declaration. All of New Jersey is covered by that declaration, and that is why we, as the pro-life movement in America and as the pro-life movement in New Jersey, stand up in the midst of this darkness and we shine the light. We stand up in the midst of this extremism and we call it out. And we urge our fellow citizens to see the extremism. We urge the Democrats, the Democrat lawmakers, the Democrat governor who have imposed this extremism. We call them out too. And we challenge them. Describe what you defend. You think it's so great? Reproductive Choice Act. Choice of what, Governor Murphy? Choice of what, pro-abortion members of the General Assembly? Choice of what? Show us what's being chosen. Describe this procedure for us. Brothers and sisters, you know as well as I do, the last thing they want to do is describe abortion. But confront them with it constantly. Not only in your advocacy, represented by this march, we come out publicly. We're not just pro-life in our homes or in the four walls of our churches. We are pro-life out on the streets of New Jersey. And we are pro-life in the voting booth. You know, there are 99 legislative bodies on the state level across America. There are 50 states. You have the House and the Senate, or like in New Jersey, it's called the Assembly and the Senate. Why are there not 100? Because Nebraska is unicameral. There's only one legislative body on the state level, not two. But of those 99 legislative bodies, only 2 this November have elections, and you're one of them. As you know, New Jersey is going to elect its General Assembly of Legislators, as well as its governor. And I want to encourage you, brothers and sisters, to make that election in New Jersey the number one priority from this day now through the 4th of November. And get people out to vote. And I'm going to say something that you're not going to hear said so clearly in churches or even in a lot of other pro-life speeches. What New Jersey needs to do here, very simple rule, very simple guideline, very simple imperative. Vote the Democrats out. The Republicans, as commentator Dan Bongino has said, are not the solution to all your problems, but the Democrats are the cause. The Democrats are the cause of abortion extremism in New Jersey. Vote them out. Sure, we can all find reasons why a Republican candidate is not acceptable for one reason or another, but brothers and sisters, that's not the choice we have. It's not the choice between somewhat good and perfect. The choice is between somewhat good and far worse. Choose the better of the options. Vote out the Democrats. Mark Levin wrote a book in this last election cycle that I referred to constantly. I want to urge you to read it as a preparation for this election, and that book is called The Democrat Party Hates America. Read it, absorb it, spread it around, and let it motivate your action to vote. Let the murder of Charlie Kirk also motivate you in this election. Charlie and I knew each other, and we communicated and worked together on elections, and boy, he knew how politics works. He knew the nitty-gritty of how it works. Get registered. You can go to checkyourvoterregistration.com, checkyourvoterregistration.com. Make sure everyone you know is registered. Make sure to utilize early in-person voting, which in New Jersey starts about 10 days before Election Day. So that last full week of October, the voting should start. Every one of those days is Election Day, leading up to November 4th. Let's be out there, brothers and sisters, with greater vigor than ever. And we will reclaim as much territory, as many seats as we can, so that we can stop this bloodthirsty, baby-hating agenda of the Democrats. We're going to be working with you, all of us at Priests for Life and our newly established C4 organization called Pro-Life Vote. And I encourage you to go there for information and encouragement and online trainings that we will have between now and Election Day, and then continuing after that into the midterms of 2026. Be encouraged, my friends. Be encouraged strongly. We know the God of life. We know the God of mercy, who calls all those who have been involved in abortion to accept his peace and his mercy. It's the work I do as pastoral director of Rachel's Vineyard, which is active throughout New Jersey. I want to especially acknowledge the long-standing work in the Archdiocese of Newark for Rachel's Vineyard. We are very, very proud, but not only of them, but of all who throughout your state work with Rachel's Vineyard and Silent No More and bring that healing to those wounded by abortion. And be vigorous and confident that the God of life and the God of mercy is also the God of victory. As I say to pro-life people all over the world, we're not just working for victory, we're working from victory. Victory is where we start, because Christ is risen, he has conquered sin and death, he lives in us, he works through us, he speaks among us, and he gives success to the work of our hands, even in New Jersey. God bless you as you march. God bless you as you are involved in pro-life activities, whether you could march today or not. God bless you for all that you do. Let's continue doing it together until we see an end to this tragedy of abortion and the reality of a culture of life. Pro-life leader Frank Pavone here on behalf of all of us at Priests for Life and Rachel's Vineyard in Silent